Hey everyone, today I've got your BlacKkKlansman movie review. Based on a true story, a black cop infiltrates the Ku Klux Klan. Is this movie worth seeing? So as far as the story goes, Spike Lee directs this movie that I am just seeing for the first time, even though it was released last year, and I had to see it because it is gaining some traction during awards season. The way I felt about this movie was sometimes shocking because of how prevalent some of the issues that were addressed in this movie still exist today. It is a powerful movie that shows a point in history that changed America. Sometimes I have been personally moved and affected by movies like this. I mean, I know if you guys have seen my review for The Hate U Give, which also had a lot of race-related issues brought up in that movie. I mean, I definitely felt the same way here. You see that shift in storytelling when you get that perspective of two major groups, the KKK and the Black Power movement, that each have their own tone and message that is equally focused on in such a way that Spike Lee effectively uses as a conversation piece about the racial divide in America in the 1970s. And at one point, he focuses on the faces of people who are reacting to the Black Power speech by Corey Hawkins, and it was artistic as it was engaging. I guess you could say that the same thing was presented with the KKK members, but in a completely different way. So you definitely see the differences of those two groups in this movie. Now, as far as the casting goes, you've got John David Washington, who plays a detective, Ron Stallworth. Obviously, he's Denzel Washington's son, so that didn't really... And I thought that was really cool to see him, pull off a performance in this movie that was serious as well as funny, and he was great in his role, and I would definitely love to see more of him in the future on screen. And you've got Adam Driver, who is a fellow cop on the force, and he is sent in to go undercover during the KKK meetings, who is also playing the character of John David Washington, of Ron Stallworth. And so I thought that was really cool to see, because they sort of play it off like, oh, a white guy playing a black guy who was talking on the phone to these KKK members, and now we're trying to get in on what is going on with these meetings. And speaking of which, Topher Grace plays the leader of the KKK, David Duke. He does a good job in his role, even though I would have loved to see more of him, because I felt like I was waiting so long in this movie to see him eventually on screen, and I didn't exactly feel impacted as much by his character until the end of the movie, when they started to show this real footage of stuff that has been going on in America, like the events at Charlottesville, Trump speaking about David Duke, and speaking about the events at Charlottesville, etc. And quite frankly, I just thought like that was all just pulled off in such a way that literally just almost got me emotional. And the cast in general was pretty standout, with some good performances, including Laura Harrier's character, who is a part of the Black Power movement. And so the things that I liked about this movie was that it did have that mix of comedy and drama, even though it was probably intended to be seen as this provocative movie, like we all know that Spike Lee can use to leave an impact on you as the viewer, and it definitely did that for me. But unfortunately, the things I didn't really like about this movie was that it does drag on a bit. And even though this is a 2-hour long movie, and I expect that with any movie that's up for awards consideration, especially towards the end of the movie, I was wondering how much more there was going to be left with what I was seeing, and I wasn't necessarily bored with what I was seeing, because I really wanted to know what was all gonna go down with the events that were constantly unfolding. So it got pretty crazy at times. So overall, I would say that this was a pretty good film, and I was really shocked that how much I enjoyed watching it. I honestly didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did, but I'm kind of glad that I saw it. So I would recommend seeing it if you guys haven't. So I would give this 4.5 hearts on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of BlacKkKlansman. And as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates. Come back every week for a Trail Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. And I will see you guys later.